Today is the fourth Sunday in Lent. Hello, Church School families. Today we are going to continue our Lenten series created by Godly Play called The Faces of Easter. In the beginning, a baby was born. God chose Mary to be the mother of God. Listen to those words again. God chose Mary to be the mother of God. The Word of God became a wordless child. And when this child looked up into his mother's face, he could already see the cross. When he looked into his father Joseph's face, he could see the cross there too. His mother Mary and his father Joseph kept him warm. They held him close. They gave him everything he needed to grow. And he did. He grew into a boy. And when he was about 12 years old, he, along with his family and many people from the village of Nazareth, traveled to the great city of Jerusalem to celebrate one of the high holy days. When the celebration was over and they were journeying back to Nazareth, Mary and Joseph realized that Jesus was not with them. They thought he had been playing with the other children from their village on the road back, but he was not there. So they immediately turned around and returned to Jerusalem, and they looked everywhere for him. They looked in the dark and narrow streets. They looked in the marketplace where they had bought their food. They went back to the place where they had spent the night. They looked for 3 days and 3 nights, and they finally found him in the temple. He was talking to the priests. When he spoke, the priests listened because he had so much to say. He knew so much. When the priests listened, when the priest spoke, Jesus listened because he wanted to learn even more. Mary and Joseph went up to Jesus and they asked him that question that so many kids get asked by their parents and have no idea how to answer. What are you doing? Why did you do this? And Jesus replied, "Did you not know I would be in my Father's house?" Mary and Joseph were confused. Their house was in Nazareth, where the carpenter's shop was. They did not understand, but they did not forget. Jesus continued to grow. He became a man. And he traveled to the river Jordan, where his cousin John was baptizing people. You can see the back of John's head here. He was a wild man. He was baptizing people in the Jordan River, and Jesus went up to him and was face to face with him and said, "Baptize me." And at that moment, John realized who Jesus really was. He said, "You are the one we have been waiting for. You are the Messiah. You must baptize me." But Jesus said, "No. It is written that you are to prepare the way. You need to baptize me." And so John did. He baptized him in the Jordan River, and Jesus went underwater into that dark, chaotic water, and he emerged into the light. And when he did, some people say that they saw a dove coming down from heaven, coming so close to Jesus. Other people said that they heard a voice that said, "This is my son, with whom I am well pleased." Jesus crossed the river and went into the desert, where he stayed for 40 days and 40 nights to learn more about who he was and what his work was to be. While he was in the desert, he had little food. And he heard a voice that said, "If you are the Son of God, why don't you turn these stones here into bread?" And Jesus said, "Humans do not live by bread alone." He heard the voice again. It was as though he was on top of one of the great temples in Jerusalem. The voice said, "If you really are the Son of God, why don't you jump off of this temple and see if the angels catch you before you hit the stones?" And Jesus replied, "We do not need to test God." Finally, he heard the voice again. It was as though he could see all of the kingdoms on earth. The voice said, "If you worship me, I will make you king over all of these kingdoms." And Jesus replied, "I am to be king, but not that kind of king." And the voice went away. Jesus crossed back over the river Jordan and began his work. Jesus' work was to come close to the people who no one wanted to come close to. Look here at this blind man. He came so close to this man. He touched his eyes, and even though he could not see, afterwards, he had his sight. When Jesus came close to people, he changed them. People who could not see could see for the first time. People who were not well left him healthy. Jesus also told parables. And one day he realized that he was to become a parable. He returned to the city of Jerusalem to do just that. Now I wonder if you have ever felt God's presence so close to you. I wonder if you've ever been unwell and then became healthy. And I wonder if you have ever known that God had work for you to do and then set out to do it. I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.